the point of that being is just lean into the systems, lean into whatever you are naturally drawn to as far as lead generation. If you don't want to cold call, don't cold call. If you don't like talking to your database, if you don't like talking to your friends and family about real estate, you can still have success through texting, right? It doesn't have to be just constant on the phone all day, right? I'll tell you, it's probably a good way to get business, yet it doesn't have to be that way. So anyway, what I want to get into is I figure we'll start talking a little bit about like mindset, and then we'll get into a little bit of role playing, like with contacting your database. We'll talk about some of the homework from Monday, how that went, maybe good, bad, whatever. We'll maybe role play that as well. Sound good? Cool. Okay. Has anyone heard the saying that that success in anything is 80% mindset and 20% like mechanics or specialized knowledge? Kind of that cliche. Has anyone heard that before? Mm-hmm. Okay. When I got my license, that was like what was ingrained in me is like, but it was very vague. To me, it was like a cliche, and it was kind of like, think positive and good things will happen, right? And maybe that's true to a certain extent, but what I think that means is, I think the mindset piece is really about like, it is knowing what values and beliefs you have about yourself and what's possible for you in this career, and having values and beliefs that support you. So meaning, it's kind of a, maybe what we'll call like an evidence procedure, meaning if you go into a call and, this person doesn't want to talk to me, they're not gonna move. Maybe that's true, right? And then you call them, oh yeah, I'm not thinking about moving. And then you just kind of feed yourself this negative feedback loop, right? Where maybe the new belief around contacting your database or friends or family is, hey, maybe they don't have a need to move today, but maybe their coworker, at the coffee pot mentioned, we gotta get into a better sized house, and my wife's pregnant with our second kid, and we need to move, right? And because you made that call, oh yeah, you would be shocked at how often that happens. If you've not been in, made a bunch of those calls recently. So, does anything come to mind about that 80-20 principle, whether mindset and skill set? What does that mean to you guys?
The 80-20 rule, man, is good for about anything in life.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to sales even, what is the saying that, 20% of the salespeople do 80% of the work, and then sales is make the sales as well.
Yes.
And I think that the 20% mindset are those who are folks that are driven, that have a burning desire to succeed.
Yes.
And they'll do whatever it takes to succeed.
Yep.
That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, we've been going over this a lot in bold for the last 2 weeks about how you talk to yourself and the affirmations and how effective they are. And I've seen it in my own door knocking. When I get halfway through a neighborhood and I'm pissed off or frustrated because nobody's either answering their door or being nice or whatever. It's like you can find yourself easily talking down to yourself. But just last week, I kind of switched it on myself, and I was like, dude, this is going to be great. The second half of the neighborhood's going to open up every door, and sure enough, 2 or 3 people opened, invited me in. I had great conversations. They weren't ready to move, like I said, but we had those positive interactions instead of the negative ones. So
Love that.
Yep.
Love that. Paul?
Little different skew. Is it 20% of the effort gets 80% of the results, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I can subscribe to that wholeheartedly.
Or what's your maybe experience been with that idea?
In what capacity?
Really anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be about real estate. Could be maybe in a previous job, relationship with a significant other, really anything.
I don't know.
You're all correct, by the way. There's not a wrong answer.
It always seems like I give in 100% of the effort to get 100%, when I go up to bat.
Okay.
I don't usually go into doing anything at 20%. I don't. I don't really equate that with my own.
Or maybe a better way to word that is, we might say that 20% of our activities lead to 80% of the results. So maybe not from an effort perspective, but like what we're spending our time doing. Where, you know, if we, you know, in an 8-hour day, if we spend 2 of those hours lead generating, that's probably gonna lead to at least 80% of any sort of a result. It's kind of a, you know, exaggeration, but, anyway, okay, cool. Does anyone have, or would be willing to share any, maybe not necessarily fears, but maybe any, limiting beliefs that they've had around lead generation? Whether, you know, contacting your sphere and kind of introducing your, kind of inserting that business relationship, or, maybe just picking up the phone in general, so to speak, or coming up with a plan to lead generate. Not really a wrong answer. Or is anyone struggling with that?
Well, I struggled for a bit with, definitely contacting the sphere. I think we've talked about that before. Always felt like my friends or family were just always gonna think I was calling because, you know, real estate. So, I've kind of put that aside and, you know, started contacting the sphere a lot more, and it is definitely working out. You know, bullshit with them for 5-10 minutes, and then at the end, like, hey man, you know, just thinking, you know, anybody looking to move, and it's been good, you know. And for a while, I think I kind of screwed myself by not doing that. You know, by reaching out to people that like me, trust me, and, you know, would be more than happy to send me business if they know somebody that's looking for it.
Thank you. Cool. Or any thoughts?
Myself, I just, you know, it's, for me, I mean, it's the best thing for me, because I mean, I've been playing with this for so long, and I'm no longer doing what I was doing as far as owning a business. I've sold the business,
Okay.
so now I have the time. Situation is just that I don't really have a fear of rejection. I've been rejected a long time.
Okay.
Over a lot of things.
Okay.
So it didn't get to me. I don't take it personal.
Okay.
But I think people starting out, that's a big thing that holds people back.
Okay.
Because they're afraid to make that move, afraid to do the things it takes because of the rejection. So what I'm trying to do now is go into this thing with a clear mind and an open playing field, and learn from the top people, so I can wash and repeat. Just keep going.
Yep.
Do exactly as they do. And I may not do it right the first time, but the more I do it, we learn through repetition. Just keep doing it. And when, like someone like yourself, you or Brock, I mean, Brock was kind enough to take me the first day I came in, and I had this listing appointment a couple nights ago, and Brock, I mean, he overheard me. He said, hey, you got time? I said, yeah, I'd love to talk with you, Brock.
Yeah.
He took me upstairs, set me down, and told me exactly how he goes about doing it. So I grabbed my notepad and started taking all kinds of notes.
Yep.
And he even gave me, I know you've seen these, gave me red folders, gave me
Yeah.
manila folders.
Yep.
Gave me the sheets, the cheat sheets, everything. Told me how he did it. And I was trying to get a CMA done. He said, no. I said, I don't even do CMAs. I said, well, how do you do it? He said, I just print off these sheets. I look at the comparables, and I go in and talk with them. He went through a laundry list of things, and I got bullet points in my notepad.
Yep.
This is my cheat sheet.
Yep.
So the bullet points, writing everything down, and just not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the ones who've been successful, gravitate to them, become a sponge, learn from them. Again, wash, repeat.
Yes.
Repeat, wash, keep going.
Yes.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Yep.
And so far, so good.
Love that.
As long as I don't try to be, you know, the guy who comes in the room and be the know-it-all, because I don't know it all.
Right. Right. Cool. Very cool.
Hope that helped.
Yeah.
No need to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
I can piggyback on what, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Jake.
Jake. What Jake said here. I struggled calling my sphere. I can go talk to a stranger like it's nothing, but
Yep.
a lot of my sphere is people I've worked with for 20 years, and I come from the alcohol industry. And
Okay.
personally, as an individual, I've changed a lot in the last like 6 years. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I whereas a lot of my friends do. You know, I started going to church, and like, my social media posts have kind of changed, so I have that mindset, like, these people, you know, they haven't been in contact, maybe they don't like me, maybe they're not gonna wanna appreciate hearing from me. You know, I used to be very vocal on social media, I'm not anymore, for the same reasons. Like, I'm trying to leave my opinions out of it, and post, you know, the things I know, the things I'm into, without being an opinionated person anymore, so.
Yep.
I just have that limiting belief, like, well, this person probably remembers me as the past or former individual I was, and they don't wanna hear from me.
Yep.
So that's been kind of daunting for me personally.
Yeah, so, to be very honest, for probably close to 6 years, I did not call any past client, no one in my sphere. That was like, petrifying for me, to be totally honest. Like the thought of calling one of my best friends from the age of 12 and inserting a professional real estate conversation.
Yep.
Oh my God, I'd rather peel my skin off my bones.
Valid.
You know,
So one of my challenges, you know, it took me a few months to learn, is, you know, when I read the MREA book, it really shines for old school real estate tactics. Knocking on doors, doing open houses, doing sphere, calling people, doing cold calls. That's old school stuff. Not very scalable. So there's a new method of doing prospecting, leveraging high tech, doing video, and so there's a strategy.
yes.
You have to, and that's the amount of time that you put into prospecting every day. If it's at 3 to 4 hours, you're going to be writing scripts, video, A roll, B roll, and so that's the kind of So that's what that's what I'm doing. I'm building out a studio, and we're going to do
Love
this. So I wish that would have been explained to me, you know, sooner, because, you know, I'm frustrating trying to carve my path. You know, I'm an introvert. I like the people I know, you know, so
Yes.
the idea of doing what you're doing, I'm sweating bullets.
Dude,
But that fear, probably never goes away fully, right? You just kind of learn to dance with it, right? So, but lean into the lead generation styles or sources that you like, and maybe that you're good at or that you're naturally drawn to, because you're gonna stick with it, right? For the long term, you're gonna do more of it, and you're gonna see a result, and you're gonna be happier. You know, even aside from doing more business, right? The goal is, whatever your personal goals may be, that's wonderful, but what's gonna keep you coming back and doing more is doing something or that style that is going to serve you and that you like. And what I'm hearing you say is like, being on the phone more can or should be like a supplement to what you're doing otherwise, marketing wise and prospecting wise?
I just for now business. I don't intend on it to be on the phones at all. But you want now business, get on phones,
Yeah,
knocking doors,
yes.
do open houses.
So I will tell you, you don't need to change that, right? When the time comes to be on the phone, or if or when you would like to be on the phone, right? You'll speed that up. So there's a statistic, and I don't remember the exact numbers, so forgive me. But like a cold call, for instance. Hey, this is Zach with Keller. I'm calling because we have a client that would love to live in your neighborhood. I'm just curious if you had any neighbors recently that talked about selling their house this year. You know what? No, not any neighbors, but actually, you know, my wife and I were thinking about moving by the end of the fall. You know, oh, cool. Tell me, what else you thinking about moving? Right, but that there's a point to me bringing that up. By talking to a real estate agent, just like, even if it's kind of surface level in the initial stages, it speeds up the point in which they make a move by like 40 or 50%. Just by having that initial contact. People need a little bit of a push is not the right word, but they need to be led through the process. They're not taking action because it's the fear of a future negative consequence, right? Or no one has kind of stirred them a little bit. What's got you thinking of making a move? Well, our house is too small. Tell me more about that. Well, our I'll go back to the little bit of example you used earlier. Well, we got a second on the way, and we really need a fourth bedroom and maybe a second living room. Well, go on, like exhaust the, kind of let them live what they don't like about their house, right? But just having that conversation, it speeds it up dramatically. So, but building that rapport and then continuing that follow-up is, doesn't need to, become a consistent call basis, yet when it does come time to make that call, being effective in that call, I think would. So to add to this, and back to the consultative selling, so to speak, when you are disinterested in the outcome and you are providing options and choices, before the market kind of changed halfway through 2022, there was a period of probably 6 or 7 years where I literally could not remember one time I got an objection from a client about signing a contract with me. And then the market changed, I had to adapt. And when the market changed, it exposed some of my own shortcomings in my presentation, and it wasn't as polished as I thought it was. But for that particular time period, if you are consulting in a way that is respectful and informative, and you're demonstrating, whether materially or just with your words, that you are interested in their outcome and what is best for them, you win an overwhelming amount.
And they won't want to get rid of you.
No, I cannot. So to be very transparent, I got my license when I was 20 because I was at Michigan State and I thought I was going to make a bunch of money. And where I came from, money was a huge source of stress in my family, or at least I associated it with that. And I thought I was going to get my real estate license and make 30, 40 grand in my first year. That was very. I made, I think, $5,000. The first 4 or 5 houses I sold, I think the combined sale prices were like 80 or 90 grand.
Wow.
Yes. And right. And then it became, well, no one wants to work with me because I'm, you may have heard the term commission breath, right? Like, yeah. So, but when you flip it, so that required a lot of change, right? Like, I had to totally shift my focus from me, obviously, and to the client and what's best for them and what is going to be their ideal outcome, and then find a way to make that happen. I cannot tell you guys how many clients I have gained over the years because all I hear from them, my realtor's not listening to me.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And I've heard something as simple as, well, I told them that I want to spend no more than $2 grand a month, yet they're sending me $450,000 houses. Like, with no exaggeration, probably 60 to 70 to 80, maybe 80 transactions over the years I've gained because they just don't like their agent and their agent is not listening to them. If you can learn how to build rapport and just listen intently, people are not buying or selling in this market because of the economy, because of rates. No one in 2021 said, well, I'm gonna go buy a house because rates are 3%. No one fucking did that. No one. Now one person, it made it easier and it made it more convenient, but they're buying or selling for their reasons, whatever that is, and it doesn't matter, right? If they're moving, I don't like the color of my neighbor's siding. Sweet, how's life gonna be better by not staring at the whatever color siding that is, in a new home? Right? Okay, so does anyone want to, or I think we should role play probably, maybe having that conversation about like how do you introduce yourself as the real estate agent and they're not expecting your call yet, we're looking to get to that 100 point of contact.
Yeah.
Does that sound good? Okay, does anybody want to do that with me? And I'll be the agent?
I can give it a shot.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hey, this is Kevin, how can I help you?
Hey, Kevin, this is Zach Peck, and I just had a couple of minutes between appointments. I was wondering if you might be able to help me. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, perfect time. What's up, Zach?
Hey, I'm calling because I'm really excited to share that I have actually started my real estate business at Keller, and I'm sure you probably may not be looking to make any moves yet. You're a pretty important person in my life, and I'm wondering if it would be okay if I include you as a part of what I do going forward.
Absolutely.
Can I get the name?
There's an element there I picked up on from what the script I have. I like that, and that is you're a pretty important person in my life.
So
I love that.
when I say that, I'm assuming this is a person that you know, right? And now we're inserting a real estate conversation.
I'm writing that down. I like
Hey,
that.
would that be, you're asking for permission?
Mhm.
No, I've never, one time, ever had a person say no with that.
Dude, I'm sorry, I'm fired up, I'm just excited. But when you say that right there, you're a pretty important person in my life, and I'd like to be able to share this with you.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to get your email address?
You know,
And I'll
and
see your
two,
physical address.
you might even insert, instead of the, you know, I'm sure you're probably not making a move, because if they are, they'll correct you, by the way. You might insert even too, something along the lines of,
Say that again, please.
which part?
That last, what you just said. You're probably
Yeah.
not gonna move, or,
So maybe instead of saying, I'm sure you're probably not looking to make a move, right, you might insert, I'm not calling about business, I'm actually calling because I'm really excited to share, I've started my real estate business at Keller Williams. You're an important person to me, and I'm wondering if it would be okay if I include you on what I do going forward.
I like that first one, really good. If you don't mind, and that is, you're a pretty important person in my life, and was wondering if it'd be okay if I shared with you what I'm doing.
That's it.
That's freaking awesome.
It's not invasive, it's, you know, it's, cool, what's a great email address? And then just roll right into it.
Kind of reminds me when you're going down the road, and say you're lost in an area, you pull over and you ask, hey man, I'm lost, you might be, you could help me, I gotta find a friend, or you know where that's at?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they wanna help you.
Yep.
You know?
The did I catch you at a bad time is also intentional. It's kind of a pattern interrupt in the brain, right? Meaning, instead of, did I catch you at a good time? No. No, not really. And then it gets awkward. Oh, well, I'll be quick. And it's like, ooh, the fuck? You know, right? Did I catch you at a bad time? It's just, it kind of stops the brain a little bit. And I go, no, almost always they say, no, I got a minute. They answered the fucking phone. They have a minute. If they really couldn't answer or couldn't talk, they wouldn't have answered. But don't ask how they're doing, right? You go, hey, this is Kyle with Keller Williams. How are you today? Good. Don't ask how they're doing. Please don't do that. You can ask them later in the conversation, but in that initial, you got about 10 seconds to get your point across and get it over with. So that, you know, hey, this is Kyle with Keller Williams. I said a couple, that also reminds me, the couple of minutes between appointments. That's implying you're not gonna keep them on the phone forever.
I'm trying to write this stuff down, it's all
Yeah.
gold. It's all
No,
gold.
we got.
Say that
plenty of
last
time.
part again, if you
So here, I'll go through it again. Hi, Kevin, this is Zach with Keller Williams.
And how you doing, Zach?
I'm doing good, Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing fine, man.
Awesome, hey, I had a couple of minutes between appointments, and I'm wondering if you might be able to help me. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Absolutely, I'd be glad to help you, and know you did.
Great, I'm calling because I wanted to share, I'm really excited that I started my real estate business here at Keller Williams, and I'm not sure if it's for you, and maybe you're not looking to make a move, yet you're a pretty important person in my life, and I'm wondering if it would be okay if I include you on what I do going forward.
Just love it, man.
Right, because when you insert that, hey, I started my real estate business, their brain goes to, oh, he's gonna ask me for something. And you are, but not what they think.
Is there another way to word you're an important person in my life? Because I've got about 10 people that are important to me, and everybody else knows that'd be bullshit.
Okay, so,
Real quick, like Gene Shaw said yesterday, if you sat in on that.
I didn't.
Okay, so a good way he said to kind of break the ice on that is call him up and be like, hey, you know, just drove past your house, you know, and it made me think you, and you know, you can do that as well, honestly.
great point, by the way, Kyle. Make this genuine to you. Maybe how I would say it is not how you would naturally say it. And if you, one of the mistakes that I made earlier was trying to, you know, I would get a script and it would be fucking nothing like how I would say it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make me so uncomfortable, and they will feel that on the other side of the phone. So, you know, you can take kind of the context of the script, so to speak, but alter it in such a way that would, you know, be more of how you would naturally say it. That's a really good point.
Is it do you have that written down in your script?
Yeah,
Is
yep.
it possible to get a copy of that?
Yeah, I'll email it to you guys or whatever.
Okay.
I'll just copy and paste it.
I wanna get your contact info, and I'll just text you my email address.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll do that at the end. Remind me, I'll get you guys' emails. If you'd like any of this, let me know.
Absolutely, I want it.
And back to your question, Kyle, so maybe a different way to word that, what would be more natural? What comes to mind? Instead of saying,
Like, I call people all the time, and that's been one of my goals to reconnect with people this year, so, instead of, you're an important person we have, and then like, hey, part of my goal is to be a better friend, I'm calling to just check on you.
love that, love that.
Or when you just said what you said, I was just thinking about you. That's the reason I'm calling, I'm just thinking about you.
I love that.
The key is to definitely be genuine with what you're talking about
Right.
too, because falling back to the script thing, they know when you're talking out of your ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
does. Yes, everybody does.
I like the plain talk here, man, that's good crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, love that, Kyle. A script that I used when we were, so in 2019, we got our command database up and going and put our past clients in there, and almost all of them we had not spoken to since they bought their house. Some 5-6 years ago, some a year ago, right? They literally had not heard from us not one time after they bought their house, bought or sold their house. So, my message to them was something like, hey Susie, this is Zach over at Keller Williams. I know you may not remember me. We worked together when we sold your house at blank address. And I wanted to call and actually apologize that we've not stayed in touch whatsoever since you bought your house. And I'm looking to change that, kind of like what, your script about your friend. I'm looking to change that, and I want to be a better, kind of regain your trust and re-earn that relationship. That would be okay. 9 out of 10 people were totally open and okay with it. You're acknowledging kind of the elephant in the room. Hey, I know you weren't expecting this call. And insert what, but yeah, just be real. Like, be yourself, be real, acknowledge, that's been a great one that I've started using recently. Hey, I know you weren't expecting this call, and
Ooh, another good one.
not but, and I was calling because, right, like, get the message as soon as possible, and don't ask how they're doing. About 10% of communication is the actual words we use. The other 80 to 90% is our body language, our tone of voice, our rate of speech, right? But that's how you know, right?
And that forces us to want to be on our game.
Yes. So anyway,
I'm excited, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad this has been, at least a little helpful so far. Another option. Anyway, back to database. So earlier I just mentioned that your database is your business in terms of quality and quantity. So, I will tell you guys, for a long time, even to this day, I have a very small, and still have a very small database. You don't have to have 10,000 people in a database. Not a bad idea, right? But you don't have to have a massive database to have success. Right, you could have a small one, but if it's of super high quality and you have good relationships, or you can learn how to build good relationships with a smaller number of people, you can still sell 40, 50 houses.
And that's because they refer you. If you do your job, you take care of them. Dude, you gotta work with Zach over here at Keller Williams because he took care of us. And then all of a sudden you're getting referrals right and left.
There was a metric that I was given when I first came here, and I'm sure it's a little different when the market changed, but 16.4% of the gross size of your database is existing transactions that you can extract. So if you've got 100 people, you have 16 to 17 transactions in there today, right now, that will buy or sell within the next 12 to 18 months. Some sooner, some a little later, right? 10% of that is referral based, right? So of that 16.4%, 10%, or you get 100 people in the database, 10 transactions should be referral based. So someone in your database, or of those 100 people, they know at least 10 of them will be able to send you a referral, a legitimate referral that would close. The other 6.4% would be a repeat. So maybe they already own a home and they're not, maybe not necessarily your client, but repeat would, you know, in theory also mean that they are looking to move again. But that is, by the way, it's not unreasonable either, even with a small database, to see 25-30% to get that type of a return on your database if you're communicating it to it consistently and you're being valuable and helpful. So that's why this boot camp has started with, let's get your database up and going, but like as soon as possible. If it takes you 10 hours, right? You know, so I would have likened this to the old adage of like, you know, you're gonna go, you got two people that are gonna go chop down a massive tree. The one guy goes right at it with a dull axe, and the other guy, and you've got 4 hours to do it, and the other guy spends 3 hours sharpening his blade. And the guy that spends 3 hours sharpening his blade gets the tree cut down sooner. That's no different. Get your date, that is so important. I avoided it like the plague. I don't like data entry. It breaks my brain. It's a pain in the ass. And yet, just carve out that time to get it done and get at least 100 people in there.
So I got 200 people in our database, talk to each one of them 25 to 30 times a year, equates to a 6-figure income.
Yes.
Okay.
In 12 to 18, I would say within about 18 months, you will be, without a question, on track for that, if not to exceed it. That's about how long it took me when I started actually implementing like a touch plan, so to speak, to my database. It took about a year. And then the repeat referral kind of started to come in.